Alright, what's going on, everybody? So I put a video out about this little Betta falls here and got a lot of dislikes about it, and I mean, I agreed with most of it. It is just too small for these bettas. So that's what I'm doing. I'm actually setting up a bigger tank and just going to do one betta here on my desk. And for some reason, the one that was in this first section, he jumped out. I actually found him, it was like laying on the desk back here one day. And so I was down to two. And so I'm just going to, this one that was in the middle section here, I'm going to move him to another tank in the shop, and then the one that's in the end right here, I'm going to put in the tank that I'm going to set up here. The tank that I am setting up is a little cube. It's a little 12 by 12. I got everything all set up here. I found some nice driftwood pieces. Kind of got how my scape's going to go. Got a little filter, little light. Got some substrate, some fluval substrate. So first things first, I'm going to move this guy. You can see I already got him in the catch cup here. I'm just going to take him out to the tank where he's going to go and get him all acclimated and into the tank he's going to go in. So this is the tank I'm going to put him in. It's just our snail tank. We got a bunch of Malaysian trumpet snails in here, and there's a couple cories in here. I think there's like 3 or 4. But yeah, so I got him floating right here. I'm just going to let him float for a little while and get temperature acclimated and everything, and we'll put him in. He'll have a mansion now instead of a little cube. I believe this tank is somewhere around like a 40-gallon tank. It's like the same dimensions as a 55, but it's just a little bit shorter. I think somebody, like, I don't know if they custom made it or what, but it's like cut down. It's just an oddball size, but yeah, so that'll be his new home. Alright, so I got the Betta falls out of the way. The cube set up there to roughly, I think that's where I like it. It's where I want it. I was going to move the computer tower and stuff like under the desk and then have that whole side just clear off some room on the desk, but I think I'm just going to leave it like that, leave the tower over there, and I think it fits nicely like that. So now get some substrate and some wood and some plants in there. Alright, so got the substrate in, got the wood in. I really like these 2 pieces of driftwood. I was just scrounging through our driftwood pile out there, and I don't know, they just seem to like fit perfectly. It makes like that little, I don't know, cove or whatever you'd want to call it. I'm not really sure. I'm not an aquascaper, but giving it a shot. So yeah, I think I'm going to go over and get my plants gathered up and what all I'm going to put in here. I got a little list that my buddy Mike from Aqua Pros recommended for me. Shout out to the Aqua Pros. Great guy. I'm sure if you don't watch his stuff, you should watch his stuff. He's phenomenal at what he does and setting up scapes and everything. So trying to learn and take what I can from him through the phone, you know. But all right, yeah. So let's go pick out some plants. Alright, so over in the plant room now, I found a few things that I might use. There's some water sprite. There's only like one down here. It's the only one I found so far. Might be the only one we got. But then probably some dwarf sage. There's some up here. There's a few down here. Probably use 1 or 2 or 3 of those, and then that water sprite like for the back, and then somewhere over here, right here, some crypt parva. Probably throw 2 or 3 of those down, like towards the front of the scape, in the middle. And I'm not sure yet what Java fern I'm going to use. I might not use any at all, honestly. He's got like 4 different kinds of Java fern in here in stock right now. Excuse me. He's got like some narrow leaf, some like singles down here. He's got some trident. He's got a few different things, so I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna get the dwarf sage and the water sprite and some of the crypt parva in and see what it looks like after I get all that in, and yeah, I'll just go from there. Okay, I got my plants. Going to get them cut out of these little baskets and stuff they're wrapped in, and get them in and see what they look like. Alright, so I got all the plants in, and I did end up putting in some Java fern. I found we have like little mats of it, so I just glued it down to the wood right there. There's the crypt parva, and back there's the dwarf sage. If the camera would focus. There we go. Then there's like a little tiny water sprite back there. I don't know if it's gonna grow or not. It was super tiny. It was like half withered away, but I figured I'd throw it in there, give it a try. But yeah, so I'm happy with the scape. Got all the plants in. Now I'm going to fill her up with some water. Oh, there's Geo. I did a tank. I did a video on setting up his tank, I don't know, a few months ago. But so over here, I'm gonna put this Betta in now. He's been floating for probably a good half hour or so. So I'm gonna release him into the tank and show him his new home. See how he likes it. He's probably not going to know what to do with himself with this huge tank compared to that little cube he was in. But I'm sure he'll love it and make home of it, I guess you should say. I don't know what you would call it, but there's some not too much flow in there. This little canister filter on here. It puts out a little bit of flow, so I know in that little cube, that little waterfalls, he really liked the flow. He would kind of lay by the top there where the water overflowed to the next one. So hopefully he adapts well and enjoys his new home. All right, water's in, lights on, filters on, everything's running, plants are in. Had one that tried to fight me that wouldn't stay submersed, but I showed it who the boss was. So now I'm just gonna let this run for a little bit. I got the Betta in here in like a catch cup, and I'm just gonna let him float because obviously, like, I had to use some new water because, you know, that Betta Falls wasn't enough to fill this tank. So obviously they weren't the exact same temperature, so I'm gonna let it run for a little bit, let him float in there before I release him in. Other than that, I mean, it's a little cloudy, excuse me, which obviously I hope will be cleared up soon, but only time will tell. Alright, so I just dumped the Betta in. Seems to be enjoying itself. It's checking everything out. It's swimming around, looking at all the plants, the flow in the filter. I would say that definitely enjoying its new home. Of course, now that I got the camera out, it's going to stay at the back where you can't really see it. Shocker. But yeah, you could kind of see it right there. But yeah, so hopefully tomorrow, I'm going to let this run overnight and see what it looks like tomorrow, and if it's still kind of cloudy, I might either throw like a little pouch of carbon or some Purigen in, and that should clear it up. But I'm hoping it'll just clear up on its own overnight. So I guess we shall see. Alright, so tank's been up and running for a couple days now. You can still see it's a little bit cloudy. I just did a small water change to try and get some of the... It had like that white film algae on top of the driftwood, which obviously sometimes it'll do that if it's new wood. excuse me. To help clear up the algae, I put a little Purigen packet in the filter, so that'll definitely help suck up some of the stuff and clear the water up for sure. But I ordered a few fish for this. Actually, they should be coming next week. I ordered some zebra autos just to kind of help keep the algae under control and everything. I really didn't want to put snails in here. I mean, I have snails in my shrimp tank, but just not a huge fan of snails, especially with like those plants down in the bed there. They'll, you know, move everything around and kind of just do what they want. And I just didn't want that, so just got some zebra autos. They should be here next week sometime. Probably do a little update video on it then, with the algae and putting them in and, you know, all that good stuff. As always, appreciate you watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and you have a good day.